Hey everyone, I'm Chris. You may know me as Nitropan from social media. This is our next session of our Muay Thai startup, which we're going to be working on knees. So in our previous video we worked on kicks, so this is going to be slightly different. Kicks are generally a distance, more distance type, it's like a range weapon, where knees are going to be like a like a melee type close-up weapon. Now you can get into range by doing different things like stepping in and stuff like that, but we'll talk about that as this video goes on. So as I mentioned in the past, understand your stance. I'm currently in my orthodox stance, right? Front foot pointed straight towards my opponent, my rear foot on an angle of 45 degrees, and in this, what we're going to do is we're going to work on our knees. So in the situation of a knee, if your opponent's very far away, you're not going to be throwing a knee, right? You're going to try to initiate some type of other movements to get in close and then throw your knees. So what we're going to work on in this session is just the technique of the knee, right? How to deliver the knee, and then we'll work on how the positioning and stuff like that in further future videos with combinations and stuff like that, right? So you would never just start off with a knee unless you were like this close to each other, right? So how a knee is delivered, right, is it's very similar to a kick, right? So but you don't necessarily have to turn that foot open for the knee, but you do have to go off your heel, right, onto the ball of your foot, right, for your knee. And from a hand position, now you can just keep your hands up, or what you can do is you can motion as if you are grabbing your opponent and bringing them into your knee. So that motion would look like this, right? And so this is, we're currently working on a straight knee. So what you're going to do is you're going to bring that knee straight up, right? Not low, but you're going to bring it up to a point where when you compare it to where you are, like you don't want to be throwing knees down low unless you're trying to hit them in their thighs, and you definitely don't want to hit them anywhere near the shorts. So just kind of understand where your opponent, where you should be hitting. So it should be above the waist. Ideally you want to get in the rib area, right? If you get them in the chest, it's fine as well. Head too, right? And maybe we can look at jumping knees further in the video. So you want to move your hands, or you want to keep your hand and throw your knee, right? So as you can see, I know I'm going to be making contact above my belt, because if you watch where my knee ends up, right, it's above my shorts, right? So that's your rear knee. You want to point that toe down as well, and you want to really tighten this area. You want to basically lock it tight. Drop that knee right into them. Now consider yourself grabbing the opponent, bringing them down into that knee, right? So boom, right? So I can show you on the orthodox side. So back in your stance, and then when you come forward, keep your hands up or pull them into. Now, that last one I overextended my hands. You shouldn't have to do that. If they're in a distance where you can grab them, you just want to either get above their gloves or on their shoulders or their head, right? So try to imagine what you're doing. You're grabbing them, boom, and dropping that knee in, right? And you're gonna lift off your heel on the planted foot. So you can go off your heel when you deliver that knee, because it helps you just elevate a little bit higher so you don't mistakenly hit them below the belt, right? Boom. Right? So show you some more angles. Okay, so hopefully you got that, right? Reach forward, boom, drop that knee in. Tighten up that leg, put your foot down. Don't do this, right? Point your foot down. Tighten up that knee. When you do it, when you're even when you're kneeing the air, if you do it hard, right? You're like contracting on that impact because you know when you grab them, you can drop that knee into them. Boom. You'll feel it. It's quite a bit of a workout even just doing this 10 times, right? You'll feel it in your hips and everything like that. So, you know, just practice. It'll make you'll feel better for it, right? So now there's a variation of that knee where if your opponent, if you're in some type of movement or you're too close to your opponent and you have to kind of, it's almost as if you know, if you would kick them, you'd be able to clear them, but if you had kneed straight and they're, you know, they had just shifted to the side, what you want to do is you want to deliver a side knee, right? And with the side knee, it's very similar to a cross where you twist over, right? So you actually want to curve it at the end. So this is the straight knee, this is the side knee, right? And then my feet turn over as well, right? Because I'm not on the ball of my foot. If I was on the ball of my foot and tried to do a side knee, I might actually fall. But if I'm on the ball of my foot and I turn, right, I'm just gonna be easy. If I have my foot planted, I can't turn, right? So side knee, right? And you consider they're like in this space. So you know in this situation, maybe something was happening where they were moving, and you're delivering your knee to them, right? And you want to sneak it in there, right? So you want to get up, boom, pop it in there, right? So we'll show you on the southpaw side. Right, so I'll show you the straight knee, side knee, side knee, side knee, straight, 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 side, side, right? Try to keep everything tight. I know it's hard. If you're just getting into this, your legs might not be accustomed to it. I really expect people to kind of review these videos, try them a few times, hopefully get acclimated to the different movements, right? When I first started Muay Thai, you know, after class I was zonked, right? And I'd take a nap after class kind of thing. But those are like an hour and a half classes. So, you know, just kind of pace yourself, do what you can, and just be careful of your range of motion. If you feel like you're too tight, try to do more stretching so that you can deliver stuff like that, right? So now, with the knees, like I said, knee is a close range, right? It's a melee type weapon. You expect your opponent to be right in front of you, right? Like you can drop a hook that close, right? It's an elbow range also. So in the purpose of getting a knee to your opponent, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can step forward to drive that knee into them, right? Or you can actually just switch forward and drop that knee into them, right? So step forward, boom, right? Like we worked on, movement, step forward, right? Boom. Or switch forward, right? So a switch, you're not going to step like how you normally step. You're switching your feet forward, and then driving your knee, right? So I'm in orthodox, I'm going to switch into southpaw, and then drop that knee, right? Similar to if I was in southpaw, I would step into orthodox and then drive that knee, right? Now, this is just a movement I'm showing you. Obviously, you would never just start, if you were sparring or something like that, you would just never start off with doing a knee unless, you know exactly what they're going to do, I guess, if you're very skilled. So, like I said, you can step in, knee, so step in, knee, step in, knee, shh, step in, knee. Right, pretend you're grabbing them, right? Or switch. Switch. Shh. Shh. Okay, so those are your knees, right? A jumping knee essentially means you're going to, actually no, I'll show you the knee on this side. Hopefully you understand the knee process. So you're going up on your heel, right? So a jumping knee means you're going to not just jump up. Sometimes, if your opponent's right in front of you and you want to deliver that knee to their head, how high do you have to jump, right? So it's more of a, I want to get to them, right? So, right, and pop them. So, I wouldn't really focus on jumping attacks right now because you need to get very steady with your fundamentals with movement and your stance before you get more comfortable into jumping attacks or even spinning type movements like elbows and stuff like that. So let's not even get too complicated into it. And so this session was primarily on knees. I'm going to be working on elbows in the next session, right? And just remember, even with your knee, don't drop your hand down to deliver that knee. Even though you feel like you might get more power out of it, you want to make sure you keep yourself protected. So either keep your hands up or grab. And when you're grabbing someone, right, you're pushing their gloves or whatever up against them so they won't be able to actually hit you, right? So when you're grabbing someone, you're tightening that space up and you're also got the cover, right? So just remember that these habits in terms of where your hands are positioned, if you're always like this, right, that means you have to bring up your hands before blocking, right? So we'll work on blocking in a future episode, and thank you for joining me for this session, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye.